recently, the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dr. Abiodun, got an award as the best governor in Nigeria in the area of agriculture. That award has turned tongues wagging. People have been asking questions. How did Ogun State win this award? What are those things that the state government has done in the area of agriculture that has made it get such a huge award? So this morning we are looking at what brought about this award and the giant strides of Ogun State in the area of agriculture. We'll start this program this morning, the Ogun State agriculture economy, because we're looking at a whole lot of things in the area of agriculture. We're also going to have time to talk to our guests this morning, asking questions on how you can also key into the vast opportunities that we have in the Ogun State agriculture basket. In the morning, in the studio this morning, we have the Commissioner for Agriculture in Ogun State, Dr. Adeola Odedino, and together we want to look at this topic. Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning.
Good to have you join us this morning.
Yes, nice.
We would like to say congrats to you once more that your hard work has made the state governor, Prince Dr. Abiodun, get that award as the best governor in the area of agriculture in Nigeria. Now, let's start from the start. When this government came into office, why was this focus? What was the focus of this government on agriculture in the first instance when we came into office?
Thank you very much for that question. Let me make a brief side comment. The award is actually as a result of the hard work of His Excellency, not my hard work. Because the governor made that decision very early in our administration, your administration, that agriculture will be used to prepare the economy, will be used to provide jobs for people, raw materials for industry, and food for the populace. Let me also remind stakeholders that in Ogun State, 2 issues are at stake. 1, food security. The other one, we are the largest hub of agro industry in this country. People have invested so much in machinery and they need raw material for it to work every day. So we don't want those industries to close down, and we also want our people to get jobs. That is the byproduct. So that's when His Excellency came in, 50,000 people raised up their hand that we want to prosper through agriculture. And as I speak, the figure has grown to 80,000. So it's just like you find yourself in a beautiful house, just like this studio. And you say, this studio is beautiful. Somebody arranged it. Yeah, somebody put together a team. Somebody appointed commissioner. Somebody is always going to CBN almost every week for intervention. Somebody is every day wooing investors. So let's give it to His Excellency for good planning. And let's also give it to the cabinet of Ogun State. Let me tell you something. For us to strike a deal in the Ministry of Agriculture, we need to work with justice day and night to prepare the MOU. We need to work with budgets. We need to work with finance. All our buildings, infrastructure, we need to work with housing. We need to work with rural development. We need to work with commerce. We need to work with agriculture is all inclusive. We need to work with all sectors. So give it to the cabinet. Don't give it to Ministry of Agriculture. Yeah.
So it's a collective.
And you forget that we're a team. And His Excellency is always telling everybody, I've got a very good team. So it's just like in a football match. If you score a goal, you don't need to rejoice too much because somebody passed the ball to you. So, but somebody must score the goal. So this award is for the cabinet. If you see the kind of linkage with youth, with budget, with finance, with justice, with rural development, with housing, agriculture agriculture is our culture. If you're building a house, the roof, agriculture, the land, agriculture, the agriculture. But you can't exist in isolation. So I think that's why the governor got it as governor of the year in agriculture, because he's able to put together a team that will use agriculture to drive the economy.
Once again, congratulations. But again, I know it was not all rosy getting the award. Now, what were some of the challenges and obstacles that you encountered while trying to put in all of these in place?
Okay, I can tell you, leadership is about doing things differently. Leadership is all about confronting the status quo. It's all about opposing status quo. It's all about innovation. It's all about doing things differently. And you need to deal with this for you to achieve. When we started studying agriculture in secondary school, the first thing they teach you is problems of agriculture. Lack of infrastructure, bad road, no market, no money. But if you are able to excel with all these problems, because this problem won't go away. Yeah, because farmers need support every day. So every time you gather farmers around, so if you are not determined and it's not your calling, you leave. You say it's not profitable. So His Excellency is able to succeed in that area despite all challenges. I can tell you what the governor has done differently from all other states. I think the first one that is worthy of commendation is like insisting on a roadmap, approved roadmap for agriculture, that every member of cabinet provided inputs. And after COVID-19, His Excellency also insisted on revised agenda for agriculture so that people who have been displaced from work will find a place in agriculture. And so that we will also not starve as state, and we continue to play a leading role as the major hub for agro-industry, so that people, our investors, will continue to come here. So he laid a very good example by May this year, when we are all afraid. And he put up his musma and flagged up the planting season. The first governor in Nigeria to do that. Immediately after, he essentially flagged off, other states started doing the flagging up. So he provided hope for people, not only in the state, but outside the state, that look beyond the pandemic, put together safety measures, allow inputs to get in, and support farmers and location. So the maize that we planted then in May, we harvested. Rice, harvested. Cassava on the field. So that was the first thing. And then when people were distributing palliative for people, this and that, His Excellency also came up with another innovation of planting material palliative for smallholder farmers, targeting 40,000 smallholder farmers. Because at that time, people already have eaten their maize for Ogi during the lockdown, not in the plant. People cannot even go and source planting materials. And 80% of farmers in Ogun State, they plant maize and cassava. About 70% of our agro-industry too rely on maize and cassava. And farmers will not go and buy these things. So he approved that we give planting material to smallholder farmers to infuse deliberately into planting season, improve raw material. And other states started their own after His Excellency. But the one, I don't know how they call it in football, the one that sealed it. If you score one goal, they say fine. Okay. Is it hat track? I don't know. You scored hat-trick. You scored another goal. But the last one, the goal number 3, is probably the linkage program to our people who have shown interest in agriculture for the first time. I'm sure the Permanent Secretary is around, is looking at me, and is the chief record keeper of the ministry. I think His Excellency also linked 5,100 cassava growers to land input and credit.
Now, I'd like to come in quickly.
And let me finish that run. 1,100 rice. And in the VCD program, in which His Excellency is probably the first governor that has paid his counterpart funding up to date, 8,500. Totally 40,000 individuals with name, face that have benefited from the linkage program. It was for the first time. I didn't mention that is excluding cotton, excluding maize. And we have finalized our documentation for cocoa, oil palm, aquaculture. It's actually the first time that the Excellency will join the Anchor Bora program. States like Yobe, this and that, they've been it. And I can tell you for now, they are now understanding Ogun State on the Akasaba program because of the innovation and transparency. And we have received letters or phone call from Izzy Nasarawa, they've been here. Anambra, FCT, they are also coming to understudy the linkage program of His Excellency on Anchor Bora under linkage program. So the award has already been won long ago. We just got the announcement. So I think I can go on. And there's also the fertilizer palliative. If you go to our stores now, you see how fertilizer there. Probably it is the first, the only, I don't want to say the only state because we are not competing. But now, no scandal about fertilizer. The planting season is over. Fertilizer is still there. We're still going to use it next year. So those are the extraordinary things that His Excellency did that earned the award. And the award is one of the most credible awards in agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa, supported by African Development Bank, supported by IITA. The minister was there. All the directors in the ministry was there. So it's actually a pleasant feedback from the agricultural industry that we are doing well, that His Excellency is doing well.
Yeah, we have had to actually, stress you to explain how the governor got this out, because people have also said, several times that there are a whole lot of frivolous awards, and all of that. But I think with this premise, we could say that it's not a frivolous award and that it's one that is well deserved. But I'd like you to actually simplify the linkages that I'm talking about, because a whole lot of people across all strata are watching this program. The linkages, what are they? What do they intend to achieve?
First and foremost, farming, agricultural opportunity, is a private sector show. Farming is in the hands of people who are able to do it and well positioned to do it. But farming is not like selling cement or this and that. You need anchor, you need support in 4 or 5 areas if you want to do agriculture. One, where are you getting the land from? It's an issue. 2, if you get the land, who is going to deal with the land for you? In southwestern Nigeria, it's not only enough for you to get land, you're going to do 2 things. Probably bulldoze it, clear it. In the north, they don't do that. They just move in the tractor. But before you move in tractor here, you need to take care of the trees. You also need to plow and harrow. Who's going to do that for you? Then where are you going to get money? Where are you going to get input? But most importantly, market. The average farm size, I can tell you, in this country is 0.2 of 1 hectare. By the time you start going to 1 hectare, 10,000 heaps, you need market. Otherwise, you take it to the market, you won't sell it, and then you also need off-takers, industries, that will sign in even before you start production, that I'm going to buy it at this price, minimum guaranteed price, and maximum. So those are the things that His Excellency put together and link our people to, who is going to provide the money in Central Bank of Nigeria. But what also earned His Excellency the award is his proclamation at the beginning of it that whoever is of Ogun State background or origin, family here, and that you have taken this loan from Central Bank, I'm going to give you extra training at my own cost so that you are able to pay back your loan. So, His Excellency approved money for all Anchor Bora participants to be trained so that they pay back their loan. So that is the linkage program, and that is very crucial for food security. It's also crucial for the industry, and we are harvesting the jobs. So I cannot tell you that close to 10,000 jobs in one season. not only in one season, in a COVID season. But we used to have very pleasant season before. How much did we do? But in this COVID season, 10,000 above linkages, people with name, with phone number, color of eye, every other thing that you can identify. So, and for the first time, it's a transparent anchor borrower program. Laced with technology, farmers are known. And so those are the things that I said, these are very bold and daring decision by His Excellency. Because in the past, people want to take this money.
We say that's a clear departure from what we've seen in the past.
Very, very. Not only in Ogun State, but in the country. That's why we are getting requests for, I want to come and understudy you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's clear departure from the norm. And when you do that, you also get resistance, opposition. People who thought it's the business as usual. And when I go to radio station and I say, fine, this is Anchor Borrower program. It's not a university, 10,000 candidates. If you have issue, see the registrar of the university. Come to the Ministry of Agriculture, see the PS, or local government. So you can assemble 10,000 people for the first time, and you won't see people who will say, no, no, no. But we have a system of addressing information, this is not this is not that. And look at state ambition. Go to the internet. You will see that in some other states, some other clients, there's enough agenda for 4 years. And somebody accomplished this in a COVID season. So their work is just to formalize.
I like the fact that you actually brought football into it. I like to go back to football. People have often said that government does not have business running football. That they should leave it to the private sector. Now let's bring it to agriculture.
Yes.
Now, is that some kind of paradigm shift for the state government? Because from what you have actually said this morning, it appears the state government is not actually is diversifying, the running of agriculture. It's not particularly in the hands of government. It's also in the hands of the private sector to a certain measure, to a certain extent.
Yeah. That just didn't happen like that. It was planned because what His Excellency, Prince Dr. Akwa approved as pillars of agriculture. I tell you, when he said food security and support to smallholder farmers, agricultural industrialization, job creation, food and nutrition, and he said two things are cross-cutting to all those things. Two things more. One, linkage, partnership with the private sector in everything we are doing. Then two, it says strategic partnership with all agencies in the world supporting agriculture and development. World Bank, CBN, AFDB, IITA, they must come into that. So, so whatever we are doing, we have a template. And the private sector's people, they have the strength, they have the willpower to do business. And that's what they are doing. So what we need to do is to support them with enabling environment for them to solve. So that's why then when FarmMake, French company, approached us that they want to use one of our farm settlements for dairy business. So they said, fine, wow, this is good. This is going to provide job, this and that. And in 10 days, they got their land. And they are in another farm institute now, erecting their factory. In fact, some people say it shocked me. It shocked the French embassy. And they issued a statement that they got the land in 10 days. So, and there is one thing the Excellency also signed in, we call it FRELA, new framework for land use in Ogun State, was supported by First Bank, that if you need land from us, we should see the deal in maximum of 1 month. And then two, the fact that we are working in communities and competition has been paid, this and that. No, it's not enough. The community too have the right to benefit from the value chain opportunity. In fact, it's documented. You can't get land here and you work in the community and the community will not be the first line of beneficiaries. So, in land allocation in the past has been laced with, we just do it on paper and say, go to Shawanjo, go and take 2 hectares of land there. But there's issues of community access. 80% of the land given out in the past, people don't even access it. But now, we want to start, or we've been doing a strategic engagement with community. The government is not taking your land for anything. We're taking it for agricultural opportunity that will benefit you and the agricultural agenda of the state. So those are very bold steps, and it won't happen in a day. It's a process. We're on it, and a lot of things will also happen in the coming year. So we're just starting.
Now we are going to look at your projects. I mean that you have as you progress in the administration. But let us look at rice farming, which this state has been able to do so well in. Ogun State actually now is one of the few states in the country that are now farming hugely in rice. Now, is there a plan to really make the state self-sufficient in rice farming? I mean, in rice production, and then to be able to also get to the point of exporting rice to other states, and if possible, even outside the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. Rice business matter everywhere in the world. Ogun State currently is the largest producer of rice in southwestern Nigeria. And we have ambition of moving outside southwest and become one of the leading states in rice production. But rice business also is in the hands of farmers and private sector. So whether we'll be self-sufficient in rice or not will depend on our success in linking all categories of grower to rice opportunity. Smallholder farmers, investors, farmers into the rice opportunity. And then His Excellency already laid a very good foundation for that. But by this year, by approving that we put all our mills in order and then arrange them for private sector participation. So we're going to hand them over to private sector people who knows how to do this business, and we provide an enabling environment of water, light, and market. And everything is hinged on primary production. If you don't have rice feed, nobody can process, nobody can mill, nobody can market. So this year alone, 1,100 people linked, new rice farmers linked. Then apart from investors who have their own large rice feed. So we only have 20 hectare rice as demonstration of technology by the Ministry of Agriculture. Every other thing we are putting in the hand of youth and private sector. It's when everybody grow rice that we can be self-sufficient in rice. Whereas government, we have the duty to provide support. Where do they get seed? Yeah? How do they get money to finance their farm? How do they mill? How do they package? How do we support large mills in getting paddy? How do we even make paddy aggregation as business for people? Young people who do not want to who don't want to go to the farm. Can they move from one location to the other, buy the paddy? And then milling is not that you establish 1 million ton mill in a town. We also are interested in community processing, village processing. Majority of the ofada that people do and export have been done in the community with the small mills that we need to just give them the stoner. Stone is the issue, cleaner. And there are small ones that we can give to community growing rice so that when they do harvest their rice paddy, 2 hectares, 1 acre, they don't need to take it to a mill in Lagos or this and that. Right in the local government, we have people who will mill, and we have programs where we teach them packaging, value addition. The only value that we need to add to rice, very well good know, is that remove the stone. People don't want to eat stone. Clean it and package it properly. And you were there during the World Food Day, when people brought in rice from the community, well packaged. And we have different projects in the ministry, international projects that are supporting our farmers so that they can also feed the local market. I think we will get there. If we're able to do this within the COVID season, and then we are not even yet in the half time of the game, we are still on the pitch, we are still playing, the referee has not blown the final whistle. And then you know that our team, we are ready. The cabinet of Ogun State, united cabinet, I think we are ready. And then we agriculture, because we all eat food, you understand what I'm saying? So every sector, they are supporting agriculture. Every sector. So don't let us fly agriculture as the one doing it. Let's fly the cabinet. And let's also give it to our team leader. I call him the author and finisher of whatever we are doing, because he's also interested in what we are doing in agriculture. He provided input. He's also interested in the smallest details of what we do, because of the importance of the agriculture in the economy, and because and our stomach, our industry.
Now, talking about, you said key stakeholders are the small growers, that's the people who have shown interest in farming, and then the industries.
Yes.
Now, talking about those who have shown interest in farming, will you say you are pleased with the number of youths who have come out to show interest, to key into this initiative of the government, this drive in agriculture by the government?
I will tell you, I will also go beyond that. Apart from the fact that I'm pleased, I'm surprised, and it's actually the highest number you can gather in any state in the Federation. 80,000 people who want to key into agricultural opportunities. It's the highest ever. So I'm very pleased, and it's also a challenge. And we should also be careful, because wherever you drag the youth to, they must succeed. Because if they are not succeeding, they are not living alone. When they leave, they will also make announcements to other youth that don't go there. Because nobody else gather the youth and tell them they should do Okada. It's youth to youth, say, my friend, per day, 5,000. I'll go buy our own. They will look for money to buy it. So that is the same thing with agricultural value chain opportunity. We must be careful. If we youths need to see other youths succeeding in it, they need to see you. So my friend, this suit, hey, fine. It's when I sold my poultry, my chicken. I'm going to raise it. You understand what I'm saying? So the youth need to spread the gospel. We have more than enough, and then we should also key them into agricultural opportunity with support, with care, and with kind attention, because they are going to carry the news to all over the world. They are going to post it in Twitter, in Facebook, showcase it. So we have the highest number of people in this country, young people, showing interest in agriculture in Ogun State.
Now, a few weeks ago, the governor actually presented budget, the state budget, the state, budget proposal to the Ogun State House of Assembly. And agriculture actually got the sum of 21.634 billion naira. That's 5%. Some people will say only 5% of the entire budget to the agriculture ministry. Now, what statement are you trying to make by just by giving 5% of the budget to the ministry?
I think if you look at the agricultural sector very well, you know that it's a sector that is leading with a lot of support, local, national, international support. Nobody is leaving agriculture alone, because of the importance in global economy, in food and nutrition, all of that thing. So, apart from what we are getting from the state, we also have IFAD, VCDP, contributing to agriculture. One of the biggest agricultural intervention in Nigeria today, we call it OTSTEM. About 70 to 80% of it is domiciled in agriculture, with the state economic perspective of the World Bank. We are also expecting Nigerian CARES, World Bank, that is supposed to address infrastructure and support for agriculture. we also have all the development partners in the world supporting agriculture. We also have the CBN also supporting agriculture. So it's not a matter of what is the budget. It's a matter of how we are able to harness all of this support, including support from other ministries. We go every day. We go to justice. We go to whatever they have in their budget in other ministries. We go there and ask for it. So it's not a matter of how much is put there, but it is our willpower to partner with the private sector, to harness international support, and also arrange our farmer, just like His Excellency has done successfully, and place them before the international community that get this support. So that is it.
You mentioned agencies, Honorable Commissioner. You don't mention OGTV.
I think if there is somebody or an institution agency that will share this award with ministry, with Ogun State government, I think it's OGTV.
Thank you.
I think it's OGTV because it's also you're also part of us. You're also part of us because it's when other agencies started raising eyebrow that why is OGTV do that? We started to find. Pick your news from OGTV. You know that anything people get from OGTV, then people will broadcast.
Yes,
so it's our station.
Certainly.
And we must be grateful for that.
Commissioner, Ogun State occupies a landmass that is well over 16,000 square kilometers.
Yeah.
Now, how fertile, and what is the uniqueness of the landmass of Ogun State? That's the second point. The third one is, have we actually done, half of, the landmass that we have in the state?
No, we have 1.2 million hectares of arable land, and I can tell you, 70% of that probably will still be available for one form of agricultural activity or agro-allied activity. So that's our strength in Ogun State, this land, and that we are very close to Lagos, one of the biggest markets in Africa. And when you look at Ogun State carefully, it's a place that you can do everything. And that's why the largest hub in aquaculture is in West Africa. The whole of West Africa is in Erewe, in Ijebu. And we also have similar sites in Kogba, in
Tell us about Iwe. You said Iwe in Ijebu.
It's the largest hub for aquaculture, for fish farming in Western Africa. Yeah, in the whole of West Africa. And if you are not careful, in the whole of Africa. And according to FAO, not according to me, according to Food and Agriculture. But when, as in the Ministry of Agriculture, we now went to Ikongba. So Ikongba is very near anyway. Fine. And there's a site in Yewa. There's probably larger than that. And we have also one in Ilaro. And they've not even been to Ikene. So that means we have the most expensive aquaculture resources in West Africa is in Ogun State. That is one. Egg production, we're number one. Broiler, we're number one. Cassava, 55 million tons of cassava per annum makes Nigeria the highest producer of cassava in the world. Before now, people used to talk about Kogi as the highest producer or the Benin. But now, stakeholders are telling us Ogun State is the highest producer of cassava. And we're actually doing well too in cotton. The cotton produced in Ogun State is a premium one. If they are buying cotton in international market for 10 naira, if they say this cotton is from Ogun State, the price is 15 naira. That's why His Excellency gave 10,000 hectares to Cotton Growers Association of Nigeria. 10,000 hectares. So it's, and then in Ijebu, in the eastern part, in Ogun East, we grow cocoa, fertile land for cocoa and oil palm. The Lomiro oil plantation, Akpoje oil palm plantation, probably the highest in this area, and those areas are very fertile for cocoa and rubber, and there's nothing you can do in the central. And if you want to rear If you are looking for pasture, you want to rear animal, go to UR6. But you can do aquaculture, you can do poultry, you can do cocoa, you can do everything in Ogun State. I'm not saying anything you can't do here. So we are blessed in Ogun State.
Okay, so okay, fine. Because I was going to actually ask you, precisely a question about that area you mentioned in Jebu,
Anywhere?
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
That actually interests me a lot.
Yes.
How much of investment have you actually done in that area?
Well, apart from being our focus of aquaculture intervention in terms of training and support and linking them to market and providing the enabling environment, we have also enrolled them into the Anchor Broker program of CBN so that we link them to credit. Because other group, other area actually copy the success of Anywhere, and we now have so many aquaculture estates in the state because of the success of Anywhere. So we are also replicating it in other areas. And His Excellency also approved that we do, apart from doing poultry infrastructure also, because of our success in broiler project, we didn't talk about that. But we have requests now from Yobe to understudy our broiler program. So we are doing broiler infrastructure all over. But we are also doing aquaculture infrastructure too, similar to what the good work that is going on in Anywhere. So what they need is linkage to credit, market, road, infrastructure, industry, and industrial linkage. In fact, we have an issue with uptaking of fish in the state because we're doing very extensive production that needs industry to pick up. So we are also approaching the giants, the big industry, so that they can come to the state and buy fish. Yeah.
Peasant farming, is it out of
It's not out
radar
because
totally?
it's not out because 80% of the food we eat comes from smallholder farming, and that is the inclusiveness we are preaching. So every agricultural opportunity comes with opportunity for inclusiveness. Now, starch from cassava, ethanol. The question you ask me is that how will my brother in my village benefit from ethanol opportunity? That means the inclusive value chain we are preaching should be able to train my brother in the village so that if he grows 1 acre of cassava, he should be able to supply it to the factory in Osesa profitably and make money from that opportunity. That's how we are moving smallholder farmer into industrial opportunity. But if you are not interested in that, he should be able to increase his productivity so that he can sell the gari to the market in Olodo or in Obafe. Is also benefiting from the opportunity. There's somebody who has established a factory there and who is exporting gari should be able to pick from him and also export. So it's inclusive agricultural opportunity. Whether you are a smallholder, whether you are a factory owner, it's like putting things on the table. This is opportunity. Glucose syrup. We are exporting it. $5 billion business per year. Everybody must eat from it. The smallholder farmer, the transporter, the OGTV reporter, the Guardian who is writing on agri, the export people, the man who is eating it. That is agricultural value chain opportunity. Because farmers are weak. That's why we are supporting them. The big guys know, before the ball is out, they've done their planning. But what we are saying is that let's also include the guy in the village in this glucose syrup opportunity that is from cassava. So let's also involve the young man who is looking for a job to be able to, he can't even go to the farm, but can he aggregate? You guys call them middlemen, the aggregators, because everybody eats from the cake. But the fact is that there must be trust. Yes, The trust means that this business, this is the profit. Factory, I take 10 naira. Farmer, we take 2 naira. Value, we are doing value chain coordination. That's what we do with off-takers. So fine, you're going to buy cassava from a farmer in Agorwe. How much is he going to earn from it? We must know from even pre-production. The farmer must know that if I grow and follow the advice of Ogun State Agri Development Project, in 1 hectare of cassava, I'm taking 100,000 naira. It's down. It's a soft MOU. On the, it's something that we take a step to court for. Then we put it down. But if you're an off-taker and you refuse to buy it at that price, then we blacklist you. Next time you come, you are looking for cassava, we won't link you to that kind of farm. So it's about making sure that every citizen of the state who one link or the other to agriculture is able to benefit from the new agricultural opportunity. So we are the umpire coordinating the private sector so that we all get benefit. So that you can also go there and do a very good report. You are also benefiting from it. Because when you write, people will buy it from your paper. It's also agricultural value chain opportunity, because if there is no opportunity, nobody will be talking about it. So that is the big picture. So nobody can cut away the smallholder farmer. Like it won't work.
In that big picture, sorry, Dominic, we also know that in big pictures, years before now, sharp practices have also been very involved.
Yeah.
Are you putting structure in place to circumvent sharp practices?
In fact, the past efforts probably have not been working very well because of lack of will to cut away the sharp practices. Before, people take money for agriculture and corporate program, and they, within themselves, they do meetings. Let's go and use this money to do barbing or bakery. I said, should we get their money back? That's all. No. But now we are saying that we must see you on the farm, on the field. I think that's the route. And it's because of the willpower of the government to approve that we consider innovation into the Anchor-Bora program, that if you take it for farming. And again too, the industry too, some of them are saying they're looking for raw materials, they're not honest about it, they still have a way of getting cheap imported materials and put it on their shelf. But now, it can't happen again. Even at the federal level, the borders are closed. And those things are also expensive. No dollar. So by necessity, people must look inward for raw materials. So that's why we must do it profitably. Because if it's not profitable, you won't see any young man there.
Now, we've also heard all these smallholder farmers complain of multi-taxation. I don't know, what is the ministry doing in that regard?
I don't think anybody is taxing smallholder farmers from my own point of view. Maybe it's the industry people complaining of multiple taxation with this and that. And taxes are actually legal issue. Most of the taxes we deal with in agriculture, they are by law. Yeah. So if somebody is complaining about this tax or the other, I think this is a legislative issue, because in the agricultural sector, all our tools and funds will be gazetted. For example, in Kuku, we can't create a new tool. It's been there by law. So every tax is backed by law. Yeah. But in the industry, I guess there might be issues of concern, but in Ogun State, I think what I hear in cabinet is that everything should be harmonized. Because if there is any state that cannot toy with industry and industrialization, it's Ogun State. Because we house those industries, and daily we are attracting them. So they are here to succeed. We are not attracting them to abandon them. That's why we stay with them, to help them source raw materials while we harvest the byproduct as jobs.
Okay, you're attracting those small companies. You're also attracting the youth.
Yeah.
But we're also in a technology age.
Yeah.
How much of technology have actually brought into? Into the
Because
system?
two things. If you work with the youth, especially in agriculture, you must be interested in ICT and technology. Technology is that mechanization. So we're starting the youth off with 1 hectare of land. In that 1 hectare of land, they didn't go there to cut and slash tractor. They didn't go there to make heap. Is what? It's with tractor. They didn't go there to plant bending their neck. It's with planter. Those are the 3 issues. And they didn't go there to weed 4 times before the expiration of the crop. We use herbicide. Those are elements of mechanization and technology that will attract a young man to farming. And what it will also do is that it will also reduce the cost of production, increase the yield, and increase profitability. That is the goal of everybody. As a young man, this is your cassava farm, and then harvest and sell. It's not that you spend time within it or looking for labor that you won't even see. No. So if those things are not there, and they must also sell using the agricultural hub, online hub, value chain coordination. They don't need to carry it on their head. They need to use platform, this and that, relationship with off-taker to sell. So that's why I said mechanization and ICT, very key to attracting users. Look at what we did as approved by Excellency in the broiler project. So the I don't want to do advert, but the off-taker is one of the biggest buyer of processed chicken in Nigeria. So we approached him. Then we started with 1,000 bots for 54,000 youths. Then we housed them in another farm institute. They did first cycle, second cycle, third cycle, and they made profit. And because of that, the success of 54 people, 9,000 people registered, other young people. That's what I'm talking about. Carefully mentoring the youth in a pilot project. Look at 54 to 9,000. And that success propelled His Excellency into approving that in all local government areas, we should do that. And we have other states in the country coming to us and say, fine, how did you do this? So we need to support youth with ICT. If those guys have been carrying their 1,000 beds each to Kuto market every day in their head then probably some of them won't go back there. They don't have to worry about marketing. Yeah. The optical just created it. That does not mean that we are abandoning the local bond seller. Because if you watch the news, you also carry it, that we're also training them. The people, the Egbe Aladiye. And so we're interested in every sector of our people who are interested in farming. If you want to be a smallholder, it's your entitlement, make profit, prosper. If you want to be a middle player, fine. If you want to be commercial player, it's agricultural opportunity, inclusive. We must all eat from it.
All right, great. We'll be having in the studio the Commissioner for Agriculture in Ogun State, Dr. Adeola Odedino, and we'll be looking at the Ogun agri economy, the revolution of agriculture in Ogun State. So much to still talk about. We'll be taking this break. When we return, we'll open the line for you to call us. A lot of things he has said that you really want to get clarified by him, and so we'll open the line for you to talk to us. It does not really matter. If you even ask a question in Yoruba, the Commissioner will be willing to answer you. So let's take this break. We'll be right back shortly. Stay with us. Okay, still new on the People's Tele, OGTV 25 UHF. And we're featuring this morning Commissioner for Agriculture in Ogun State, Dr. Adeola Odedino. We're looking at the Ogun State agri economy, and it says so much in the last 1 hour. For those of you that have been watching us since 8 o'clock, we'd like you to also call us. Let us know what you feel about what Ogun State government is doing in the area of agriculture and areas that are also naughty to you. You might also ask the commissioner a few questions. Of course, you know that we are on other platforms too. You could also reach us live on Facebook. In fact, we have comments on Facebook already from one Ogunremi AB today. He says, well done, sir. You deserve the award. God bless you and the governor. That's from Ogunremi AB today. We thank you so much for watching us. And so keep sending the messages. Ogun TV on Facebook. We're also live there. Let's take your views and opinions. Commissioner, let's start from where you left it, because we also believe that you must have also had some relationship with other states, state governments. In fact, you know, we have always said here that the Dawn Commission also needs to do something about agriculture. Ogun State, Oyo, Ekiti, Lagos, Osun, and Ondo. How much of this connection have you actually gotten?
Yeah, apart from what is going on in Dawn Commission that we are part of, as approved by His Excellency. Just last week, His Excellency also approved that we fly the Ogun Kebbi Joint Rice Development Partnership. Because in Kebbi, they've got a lot of paddy and probably no industry. And then we have mills here, and so we are partnering with Kebbi State on rice production. And you remember when His Excellency came in, the whole team of our team, we made a trip to Kebbi to understudy the Anchor Bora program. So we want to give it to Kebbi, whatever we are doing now on Anchor Bora on rice.
I was going to actually ask you what's so special about Kebbi, because I know Lagos also partner with Kebbi.
Yeah, it's also for paddy, for primary production, because they've got land flat enough to plant rice. It's easy to prepare land, and then we are here. We have the market, the industry, the machine. So we're working together with Kebbi as approved by Mr. Governor. And then two, we're also working with Yobe on our broiler program in another direction. They also want to do what we're doing. We're also working with Nasarawa on our cassava project. They also want to work with us. Enugu, and I can tell you, these things are sheer learning. Nobody's perfect. We learn from them, and they also learn from us. But we are doing the big one with Lagos State government on European Union, German agency intervention of tomato and pepper. The uptakers, they're in Lagos. The farmers, probably some of them are here. And so on leather, tomato, garments, etc. So it's like we are not existing in isolation. We are working with other states. But for Dawn Commission, because we are part of it, His Excellency is a prominent member of that commission. And we are also working with Udua Investment, where they've already planted close to 4,000 hectares of cassava.
Sorry to cut you short. Yeah. We have a call already. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Oladipo calling from South.
Okay, Oladipo, good morning.
Yeah, I've been watching the TV program and I'm enjoying it. I'm in terms of the latest at the Department of Agriculture. I'm interested in working. I'm interested in agriculture in this space, but I realize that I don't know anything. I don't know how to start. There's no fun, and I'm a penultimate student. Like, how can I start this thing even when I finish the university? How can I reach the Ministry of Agriculture? How can I
Okay, your question is understood. Let the commissioner react to it. He's in a dilemma.
Yeah, I thank you very much for your interest in agriculture. And I listen to your background. We're actually looking for people like you to take agriculture to the next level. And the fact that you listen to this and you show interest is enough motivation for us to look for you and also provide link. I know you're a young person, so you don't even need to come personally. Before the end of the program, we will share a number, email address, that we can contact us with, and we'll take it up from there. And then the Ogun Job Portal is also there.
Yeah.
When you are feeling it, let us know that you are interested in agriculture. Then we'll reach you. Thank you for your interest.
Are you satisfied?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You really want to go back to the point we were making, before the call came in?
Yeah, like we work with Udua Investments, which is actually part of Down. There is an abandoned close to 8,000 hectares of land in Ekwafon, Yewa, and Udua Investment is there, growing up to 4,000 hectares of land in cassava. They're also into maize, so that we can also take care of raw material supply and job creation. So those states that we work with, we don't want to claim superiority.
Yeah.
They are learning from us, and we're also learning from them in that area. Collaboration and partnership. So,
Okay.
that's our people. Yeah.
Let's take more call. Hello, good morning. Hello.
We lost the call.
Yeah, we lost the call. Okay, another one is here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Solushola. I'm calling from Rwanda.
Mr. Lushola.
My question to Ms. Lenny, what are the efforts they are making to involve the actual various local governments we have in Ogun State? Because it says that most of the local governments are redundant. They are not at the government themselves. So this makes them redundant. Some of the workers even go there by 12, they are out of the place and gone anywhere. Why can't the local government, if local government go into a farming, they should produce something, and every year we make a local government outreach show to see that this is what a local government itself has produced. They may go into agriculture, sustenance farming, and other things. What are the efforts of this commissioner towards that line? That is my question for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lushola. Did you get that?
Yes, I got it. And Mr. Lushola, thank you very much for that input. We also recognize the need for us to work with local government, because the farming actually takes place in the local government. First and foremost, we don't enter any local government without the buy-in of the local government chairman and traditional ruler. And recently, we have a platform supported by us of all agri officers in the local government. So whatever we are doing in the local government now, we also have agri officers as a facilitator. And then to start with, the poultry infrastructure we are building in each of the local government area, we are already working with local government, and we've reached some local governments and we've not reached. So I think that's the starting point. And then we'll build up from there. We recognize the need to do more in the local government. And it's not a land access, where we are currently also clearing land in 20 locations, and they are domiciled in the local government. And we've had issues with community, with local government. Before we solve those issues, local government authorities must be there.
There's also the issue of the ancestral land.
Yeah.
There is this fear that people, if their land is taken for agriculture, they will lose it forever. Is that true?
No, it's not true. For the ancestral land, wherever they exist, is the right of the community. And where we have all our acquisition all over the state, we will give constitution. It's done. It's not negotiable. We must leave the ancestral land for the communities. And the land, I've talked about FRELA, our new framework for land use. It's not about taking land away from the community. In all the 20 locations that we're clearing land, we're there. We clear the land for the community. If you're clearing land in Akuje, there's no way people can come from Odeda to come and farm there. It's for the youth around here. And after the program, the land is still there for the community and for other people. But it's a different ball game if we're actually taking an investor there. Because the investor is going to site industry and employ people there. In that regard, we must facilitate compensation.
Okay, that could also be outright buy-off.
No, it's still not buy-off. It's lease for government for them to site industry there to benefit the community.
Okay.
But in such land, there are crops there. Then the Ministry of Agriculture will facilitate payment of compensation to land owners. But for our program, for youth program, it's actually for the community. And we don't want to go near shrine and important location. So the community will always have that.
Okay. Yeah, we apologize for those that we have kept waiting. Some calls. Okay, one of them is back. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Hello? Okay.
Now, let us look at the condition of abattoirs in the state. Now, I understand that your ministry actually plays a supervisory role on these abattoirs, and then we understand how important these abattoirs are. I mean, because huge amount of the meat or the beef that we consume come from these abattoirs.
Yeah, I think for the issue of abattoirs, I'd like to set the record straight. The Ogun State Ministry of Agriculture, by law, is responsible for licensing abattoir, for making sure that meat, this and that, they are safe for human consumption. That cannot be negotiated. So if you want to site an abattoir, you must inform us, and we must approve the location. And veterinary officer must work there daily to certify the meat. But when it comes to hygiene, taking care of the place, it's a stakeholder thing, it's a collective thing. The local government people are there to enforce sanitation. And then the market association, very powerful, they are also there to make sure they have sanitation day and keep the place clean. It's like if you build your house and you give it to some tenants, will you still be going there every day to sweep for them? It's their responsibility to do it. But we also have power under the law to seal an abattoir, that if we think that the condition there will make the meat not safe for consumption because of the filthy environment. But primarily, the veterinary aspect of safety of the food, of the meat, the liver, can you eat it? The shaki, is it good? The pomo, these and all those things that we like to eat, the orishi, we must certify it every day. Their body.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, quickly, you have the commissioner here.
My name is Latiti Babatunde. I'm calling from Malta.
Okay, Mr. Abatunde, what do you have to
Very
say?
happy with your program this morning.
Thank you so much.
My point is that I'm happy that you bring Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture to your studio.
Okay.
So, during ANCO program,
Okay.
during the ANCO program,
Yes.
so I was at my local government in Abiodota local government, and I read it and I put in under poultry fund. And since then, we didn't hear anything up till today.
What? The local government is Ado Daughter, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Ado Daughter. So you register for poultry farming,
Poultry, yes, yes.
and since then you've not gotten any information.
Yes, even my colleagues that are registered under cassava farming, they call them to, they send text message to them to go and register their name in Wema Bank. Up till now, there's no allocation to them. There's not, even we, the poultry farmers, we don't hear anything up till now. That's why.
Okay. Well, the commissioner will react quickly to that.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And I can confirm to you that your observation is right. That is the true position of things. 3,000 other people also register for the same aquaculture. Where we are now is that we've compiled the names and we've given the name to the off-taker. We've also given the names to Central Bank of Nigeria, the financial off-taker. Because the way this thing works is that the off-taker must be ready. The financial off-taker, also the financial anchor must also be ready. So for our people who have registered for, is it aquaculture?
I think he mentioned poultry.
Even poultry.
Okay.
We are still in the process of documentation.
Okay.
And while we are doing this, 3 other opportunities came in. One, from CBN 2. We call it Noila. Open for 10,000 rural women and even urban women. We also have Mother Hen, where young people will be given the opportunity to brood so that we also distribute to other people who cannot brood. We also want to expand our broiler project. So for over 3,000 people who have registered for poultry and also aquaculture, the coming year will make it happen. Because this thing is a process. We need to get the off-taker who will buy to sign that I will buy. CBN also must be ready to disburse. So I want to assure our caller and the other people that it's not that we've done it and you are excluded. And for cassava, if you have opened your account for Member Bank, that means you are in the next line of intervention. We've done 5,100. And if there are issues with people, because this thing is also being done in collaboration with the National Identity Management Agency, if you, because you're going to pay back the loan, because it's anchor borrower, if your BVN is not correct, or you have borrowed money before in Osun State and you are not in Ogun State, the system will remove you. Or if you are not in the database of the association, Cassava Grower Association, that you are working with, and they don't know you, it might also be a problem. Because before any anchor borrower program, there's a town hall meeting spearheaded by the association, and that these are the people and these are the terms and conditions. Ogun State Ministry of Agriculture and Ogun State government, we do not go into procurement for farmers. It's the farmer themselves that choose everything, and they are also part of the monitoring. So if there are issues, our email address, I will circulate it for Ogun Agri, and the number to call, so that we can sort those issues.
Okay, you do that in short, Commissioner. Let's quickly take some other Facebook messages. We have this one from Ridwan Fadeyi. He says, kudos to our dear Commissioner. You are indeed an active and hardworking man, and your impact towards the building movement of Governor Dapo Abiodun agriculture is very important, and all of that. Just acknowledging all you have done. Now, I commend the Commissioner. This is from Akil Shola Olayemi. I commend the Commissioner for a good explanation. He should please provide contact that will be approached. Okay, we'll do that shortly. Gabriel Olusoya Oguntayo, well done, Commissioner. What are you doing to save us from police extortion on agricultural produce movement?
I think that is an issue that we are confronting as stakeholders. I also want to mention what we are doing in the committee for farmers and headers. So what you need to do as an association, as town, or if you have a specific issue with any security agent, do us an email, call us. We are working in all our committees. We have custom, we have police, we have a structure for dealing with extreme behavior from security agencies. It's a national thing. It's what you confront in all sectors.
Yes.
But what is important is for you to have a place to call, or how you can seek instant redress. And thank you.
Okay, in 5 minutes we'll be done with this program, and if you have more messages we'll read before we go. But let's take more calls. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Go ahead with your
Okay. Please, I want to greet the honorary commissioner.
Yeah, thank you.
Then my question is, how can I get this Goa bridge of gold and Kalahari bridge?
Did you get that, Commissioner?
Yes, I personally I have 2 Kalahari myself. I love them. So you do an email to us or call a number. We'll link you up to people who want to dispose. And in fact, it's not even for all good, for all planting material, for all seed, piglet, everything. If you do us email or call us, you can get. I like it that you want to start with a very good breed. We can link you up to source. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We will. Do you still have more calls? Okay. Yes. Just have a few minutes to go. And okay. Thank you so much. I'm sure the commissioner has answered you satisfactorily, isn't it? Okay. It's left us. We can take further calls. We have 3 minutes to go. Yeah. We'd like you to share the numbers. Yes. And then email address.
So our email address is ogunagric@ogunstate.gov.ng. Yes, ogunagric@ogunstate.gov.ng. Response is 24 hours maximum for any question.
We'd like you to repeat that,
Yes.
Commissioner.
Ogun Agric
Ogun Agric.
at ogunstate.gov.ng. 24 hours maximum for all your inquiries.
And the number.
The number is 0803 52 66 149. 0803 37 1451. Two numbers.
Okay, so those are the numbers and the email address. Just contact those two platforms. Either you call the lines or you send messages to the line, or you also send a message to the email address. The Commissioner has assured you that you get a response in the 24 hours. We must thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner, for coming to this program. And we know that you came with a crack team, your PS, Dr. Nshorunke is here. Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Taiwo Jolasho, Director of Fisheries Services, Mrs. Victoria Ojelade, and Director of Livestock Services, Mr. Ade Oshilalu. You know, all we say is gentlemen, okay, I think there's a woman among them, you know, for their support and for making the award that went to the governor
Yes,
a success.
I think for every recognition, for every award, there is an excellency governor working hard, traveling, central bank, this and that, this and that. There is a permanent secretary that will not close until 11 p.m. There are 6 directors working hard. There is an SSA to the governor who is also working with us. And we have all our staff, farmers and stakeholders. Like we are all on the field playing. And we have the cabinet members scrutinizing our roadmap, providing inputs. We have a housing corporation trying to build a training hall for us, or poultry justice, trying to finalize our MOU. Even the media, Ministry of Information, even OGTV.
Yes, I was going to.
So we are just in a field playing as a team.
Yes.
And I think we appreciate everybody.
We must thank you so much.
And to say that whatever we can do this year, I think next year is still there. And we don't want to rest on our words. We also don't want to improve our record and our rating. This is our first show, our rating. Then we still have next year, we still have other years.
Yeah.
And like I said, we need to move beyond perceived problems of agriculture and achieve. Because the problem of agriculture will always be there.
All right, we must thank you so much. We'll be looking at the agric economy, the Ogun agric economy on the program this morning, and we're having the last close to 1.5 hours. Commissioner for Agriculture in the state, Dr. Adiola Odedina. Thank you so much for coming. Dominic, we've got to go.
Yes, we thank you so much also for staying tuned to the People's Daily since 6:30 when we opened the studio up till this present moment. Thank you so much. Otonjo will be here tomorrow. Don't forget to join our crew. On behalf of myself, Dominic Agbeha, and Biodo Alabi, have a wonderful day.